He's disruptive. He's everything, but I came back and proved everyone wrong.
My desire to win is higher than my desire to live.
And that they have Dennis Rodman, who cheats all over the court.
I don't have a problem with it, any of that.
And the hardest working guy on the floor, and people don't give me credit for that.
While Michael Jordan was awarded the 1996 NBA Finals MVP for his obvious contributions to the Chicago Bulls' victory, Dennis Rodman's contributions to the Bulls' success that year can also be seen as MVP-worthy from certain perspectives. Dennis's defensive prowess, rebounding, being an energizer and pace setter, a disruptive force was an undervalued contribution to the series. Only Dennis Rodman could love contacts and tough action in the paint. Not only love it, but encourage it. He took the Sonics' best shots in Game 1. Then again, only Dennis Rodman could appear for the NBA Finals looking like a mad graffiti artist had mistaken him for a highway overpass. It looked like his barber melted a box of crayons on his scalp. Of course, it is still the same old Dennis. Phil Jackson was a fan of the new choice of hair. There are a lot of icons and symbolism in that hairdo today, and it is refreshing. I don't know if everybody's going to see it, but personally, I'm going to have a photograph of it made and autographed by Dennis because there is a lot of symbolism we use. He was trying to make his mark in Game 1. An early technical whistle on Rodman by Joey Crawford for arguing a foul call less than 5 minutes into the game was not a good omen.
Long lane. And a loose ball foul called against Chicago. It is on Rodman, who is sporting a new look.
They got an age symbol, a peace symbol, and a Pearl Jam symbol on that haircut for Dennis Rodman.
And that is the first technical called on Dennis with the new look.
Fortunately for Rodman, the Seattle Supersonics forward Frank Burkowski had the attention of the refs by the end of the first half. First, drawing a flagrant foul for elbowing Rodman. With 1:27 left in the second quarter, Burkowski raised his left arm to box out Rodman after a miss. Rodman dove to the floor, making it appear as if Burkowski had flushed him with a forearm or elbow to his face. Then another technical and automatic ejection for getting into a shouting match with Rodman's buddy and his spokesman, Jack Haley. When Haley saw Frank coming into the game, he knew what Frank would do. So he told Dennis to be prepared to weather the storm and not let him catch him off guard. When Dennis was prepared, he could handle anything. Haley thought Frank tried to bait Dennis 2 or 3 times, but he did not go for it.
Apparently Joe Crawford feels that the intent of Burkowski was to instigate something against Rodman. Burkowski now walking in the direction of a couple of Bulls, and he's joined by a security man.
The Sonics could only beat the Chicago Bulls with the hustle game. Burkowski and Shawn Kemp could not break Dennis Rodman. While Jordan was getting into a flow, Burkowski tried getting on Rodman's nerves. The Sonics weren't playing great basketball, but were still in the game, but they were not in that comfort zone. Burkowski already got tossed from the game less than 2 minutes after he entered it. Rodman also played a huge role in shutting down Shawn Kemp in the final 12 minutes. Rain Man stayed in the game after his 4th and 5th fouls before fouling out in the final minutes. No one was happier to be flung to the floor than Rodman was when Kemp bounced him with 1:43 remaining. And Rodman was guarded by Shawn Kemp, but it didn't precisely exhaust him on the defense, taking just one errant shot for the first half and an off-balance runner. Finished with a relatively modest 7 points and 13 rebounds.
From Scottie Pippen.
Long lane. Oh, look out, Rodman just went down. Joe Crawford taking a long look. Another look at it.
A totally unnecessary play. All of them hooked up there. Frustration by Shawn Kemp. Just let that play above the antics of Dennis Rodman.
By then, the Bulls were firmly in control of what would become a 107-90 victory. Burkowski later in the postgame: "I felt the technicals were undeserved, and I could have easily been allowed to play. I don't know exactly what Joe Crawford was thinking." Asked if he was designated as the player to try to remove Rodman, Burkowski responded, "People are entitled to their opinion." Rodman was cursing and carrying on. "That's a part of basketball. I don't have a problem with that." Dennis Rodman is a great flopper. He's great at locking your arm, your wrist, pushing you when you jump, but he won the first battle. I know the referees are on his butt too, but he got away with a lot tonight. The flagrant foul was called, and after that, I didn't think I deserved to be kicked out. I thought it was quick. It doesn't matter what Jack Haley was yelling at me. He was over there pretending to be a coach. I was yelling at Jack Haley to go sit down. He is the highest paid babysitter in the country. And the flagrant foul? I didn't swing my elbow intending to hurt anyone. The tape shows that. I thought it was a great job on Dennis's part to flop and get the call. If the referee is going to be tricked, there's not much I can do. My job is to keep him off the boards. That entails forearming and using my bulk and body, whatever I can do. Burkowski said he and Haley did not have a history of feuding. In the Bulls locker room, Haley scoffed at Burkowski's comments. "He called me for extra tickets 2 days ago. It shows you what kind of friends we are." Needless to say, I did not give him any. We play a very similar game, so we bang together, and we both get along really well. Dennis had 4 flops, Sonics head coach George Karl said. "It was an acting job. Why we give him this credibility is impressive to me. Why do we let this guy hold and grab and then fake like my 12-year-old kid? I don't understand. He's laughing at the NBA. He's laughing at his teammates. He laughs on national TV. He laughs at the referees, and they still kiss his butt. It's ridiculous. There's no way that was a flagrant foul. It was a flop, and Dennis Rodman's acting ability baited a referee to call it a flagrant. What are we supposed to do? Back off Dennis? Okay, Dennis, you can be the only jackass out there. Are we not allowed to confront him? Whenever Rodman's in the game, there's always that level of intimidation. We can't back off. That's the worst thing you can do. Provoking Rodman, though, isn't a new postseason tactic. Miami's Kurt Thomas tried to do it in the first round, and New York's Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason were unsuccessful at provoking Rodman in the second round. Rodman said, "You know what he's thinking. I'm going to go out there and try to get Dennis out the game. There are a lot of ways to try and mess with my head, but there's only one way you can't mess with my head. That is to come out there and do something like that, especially in the playoffs. It just won't work."
Play through it. Short. He posterized Scottie Pippen.
He is the quickest dunker.
Serving up a facial, which is enjoyed by the Sonic bench. 2:55 remaining.
Using his 2-inch height advantage, Kemp went over, around, and through Rodman in the first period, scoring 10 points and grabbing 5 rebounds until his second personal foul sent him to the bench with 3 minutes remaining in the quarter. Rodman, meanwhile, had just 3 rebounds in each of the first 2 quarters as the Sonics dominated on the board in the first quarter. But Rodman came to life in the third quarter. When Rodman flopped around like he was being fouled, grabbed, and pushed by Seattle players and then whined to the referees about the Sonics playing unfairly, that was not basketball. But there were 10 Rodman rebounds in the third quarter, 7 offensive when the Bulls stretched their lead to 76-65. Then Rodman added 4 more fourth quarter rebounds and another on a Steve Kerr miss with just under 20 seconds left and the Bulls leading 90-86. Rodman got the ball to Tony Kukoc, who hit 1 free throw to keep the Bulls ahead 91-86 with 15.8 seconds left. Rodman alertly trailed a pair of Scottie Pippen free throw misses, diving on the floor for the loose ball. Rodman and Sam Perkins grabbed the ball, resulting in a jump ball. Rodman was fouled on the jump ball and split his attempts to account for the final margin. Dennis helped make Kemp a non-factor in the crucial fourth quarter. George Karl and Sonics needed to ignore Rodman at all costs. Instead, you get them pleading their case, and you can see how Rodman had gotten inside their skull. The tricky part was stopping everyone else. The impossible was keeping Dennis Rodman away from the basketball.
You know, it's all about mind games and head games. That's what it's all about.
Jordan had a shooting slump which played right into Rodman's hands. The more Jordan and his teammates missed, the more Rodman became a major menace for Seattle. Every shot MJ missed, Rodman got it.
On the 24, and Kerr fires for three. Rodman with the offensive rebound. The Seattle front court, as Pippen misses on both. Rodman able to get a jump ball out of it.
His inside arm.
Well, let's see. Well, the hat trick.
He played hard. He gave everything on the court. It's hard to keep somebody on him. He was just outworking people. That rebound of Rodman's was a killer. That forced a jump ball, and the Bulls got possession, and Rodman was fouled and made one of 2 free throws for the final margin. That probably was the most important rebound of the game. Some way he got in there and grabbed it. That's his job. He's probably the best in history at getting through 2 guys and grabbing a rebound. You have to give him a lot of credit for doing that. Jordan, he gets his. What Seattle has got to do is keep Rodman off the boards, whatever it takes. If they have to guard him, they'd have to do that. Seattle got to come out with a little more fire and a little more anger, and match Rodman, the angriest of Bulls. Fortunately, Dennis Rodman, yes, Dennis Rodman, gave them just enough of an offensive push to bring home the win. Not only did he grab a game-high 20 rebounds, including an NBA Finals record 11 offensive boards, but he scored 10 points. His free throw with 3.7 seconds to play gave the Bulls the cushion they needed, so Seattle couldn't send the game in overtime with a three-pointer. Yes, as usual, Rodman was the center of attention in Game 3. Late in the game, while waiting for a free throw to be shot, Rodman looked at Seattle's Frank Burkowski, his arch-rival, and laughed. The mocking gesture was one of Rodman's most devilish acts during the playoffs. But it may not have been as daring as earlier when Rodman leaned on the scorer's table near Seattle coach George Karl and offered some pointers. I said, "George, I know you're a great coach, but you've got to teach your guys how to play basketball again," Rodman said. "This is a game you shouldn't be trying to see if you can beat me in a mental game. Teach them that, instead of trying to get into a one-on-one confrontation." Game 3's one-on-one confrontation occurred when Rodman got tangled up with Burkowski with 5:46 left in the game.
Minus moment as a professional. And Jordan fouled by Hawkins, and Rodman.
For the second half, I got to sit on the floor, and it got rough with Frank Burkowski, or whatever that guy's name is, Crawford observed. Yes, it did. So rough that Burkowski got called for a grade 2 flagrant foul, which meant an automatic ejection, his second in the 3-game series.
Burkowski ejected, flagrant foul 2.
I thought Rodman made a fool out of the referees again, Burkowski said. "Look at the tape. Judge for yourself. There was no malice there. No intent to hurt him. I wasn't trying to throw him down. I tried to get loose of him and pushed him away, and he acted like someone was trying to slam him to the ground. I'm baffled by it. I don't know what you can do if he's going to be allowed to flop and get away with it." Rodman, smiling after the game and wearing a pair of silver-faced shades, said he won the mental battle again. They brought Frank Burkowski into the game, and he tried to deliver a blow and get Dennis Rodman frustrated, Rodman said. And then Shawn Kemp tried to get in the action. You've got to understand something. If you're not mature enough to handle both sides of the coin, you can't go out there and play that type of game. I play both sides of the coin, so I know I can win that battle. Rodman also managed to win Crawford's admiration. "I think he's deeper than the hair and the tattoos and the earrings," he said. "He has fun with the bad boy image. Some of it's tongue-in-cheek with him, but he has a lot of character on the inside." The only drama this series had left to offer was whether the Sonics could keep Michael Jordan under 40 for a 4th straight game, and if Rodman and Burkowski were finally going to square off. The worm lured Frank into a second ejection in 3 games. The Bulls put on a clinic in the first half. Again in the fourth quarter, their power forward playing a bit part. Rodman grabbed 4 rebounds early and drew a charge on Shawn Kemp.
And here's Kemp. Offensive foul. It's a charge on Kemp.
Well, Dennis Rodman saw that one coming from about 30 feet away, and he couldn't believe that Shawn Kemp just kept coming and coming and coming. He was standing there waiting forever. The offensive charge.
Mostly he stood around and watched. He made like a tennis fan, his head on a swivel, trying to keep pace with the ball. Frank Brickowski is in there to frustrate me, and it's not going to happen. If everyone wants to get it on, let's go. The Sonics are out of their game because they're worrying about time. George Karl accused Rodman of flopping to draw fouls and reiterated his charge that Rodman is a great rebounder and a good actor. I guarantee you it was not a blow that could knock down a 250-pound man, he said. Rodman was also playing the part of an instigator as he tried to bait both Kemp and Brickowski at the foul line. The Sonics were amateurs, whether they were dribbling down the court or from the mouth. Thrown out twice, Brickowski had 3 more points than ejections. He blames the officials. They are buying Rodman's act, he said, accepting his flops as forced knockdowns, allowing him to push and taunt. Dennis can work on his Maybelline blue at the foul line, and it's not going to affect my game. It's most challenging to affect Brickowski's game, for he has no game. Rodman, meanwhile, the difference in their skills is as dramatic as the difference between the Bulls and the Sonics. Chicago was about to sweep the Seattle Supersonics. Meanwhile, Dennis thought the officials had been told to make sure the games in the NBA Finals don't get out of hand. 57 personal fouls were called in Game 2, and 57 more were called in Game 3 Sunday. Frank Brickowski was ejected from Games 1 and 3. Rodman got a technical foul in Game 1 and received another in the second quarter Sunday from official Steve Javi. Later, Rodman and Shawn Kemp were assessed double fouls. I think NBA Commissioner David Stern put a bug in their ear, Rodman said. Anything happens, throw them out. It's not just me. It doesn't matter who it is. Rodman turned the fourth quarter into vaudeville, a mocking, smirking display of self-absorption. Just being me, he said. Just being Dennis Rodman.
I wouldn't say it's effectively over. I just think that, Seattle have totally got out their rhythm, out their game, because all they're doing now is trying to mess with me, try to get in my head. But they don't understand, though. You can't mess with the master. You can't mess with the master.
Rodman's suggestion that the reason the Sonics played so miserably is that they were worried about Rodman's antics is the kind of deluded preoccupation that soils the Bulls' achievement.
And they win it 107-86. 89, Chicago 78. The Bulls now lead this best-of-7 NBA Final Series.
This time, Dennis Rodman wasn't talking. Not to the refs, not much to the Supersonics, and not to the media afterward. Rodman was, quiet. He did finish with 5 fouls and, as usual, did find himself tangled up with Frank Brickowski on a few occasions. But his presence was less conspicuous on the boards as he finished with 12 rebounds, 5 on offense, along with 6 points. Rodman has to deal with playing mind games, and no one wants to figure in the referees in terms of that, Michael Jordan said. They're not going to let Dennis destroy the game or disrupt the game with his antics. I think they were cracking down on him pretty well. Even when he's not doing anything, they're looking for it. During the first 3 games of the finals, Dennis Rodman was getting a lot of attention for his alleged flopping every time he got tied up with one of the Supersonics. Rodman was also winning a war of mind games with Seattle. But he hasn't made much of a ruckus in the last 2 games, grabbing a quiet 12 rebounds in Game 5. Rodman didn't even pick up a technical foul. He has 3 technicals for the series.
It doesn't matter. It's only one game. Only one game. We got to come back Friday. That's what this business is all about. Give people some enjoyment, some excitement, go home, and hopefully that'll be all right.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Rodman with the tip. And the Sonics now lead 57-41. Mathis on the scene as Rodman and Brickowski came together having fun. Pressure certainly taken off coming into tonight's game, but I don't think that's what George Karl had in mind. In a battle. And last touched by Kemp. Shrep. Kemp. Kemp. Called. Let's say. Called for the charge, and that is his third foul.
Do more than just be a shooter as Payton drops the block.
It's a good thing Dennis Rodman didn't care about accolades. Rodman, who became a cult hero in his first season with the Bulls, as much for his cross-dressing as for his rebound grabbing. He played like a superstar in the series against Seattle. In Game 6, he grabbed 19 rebounds, 11 on the offensive end, and chipped in 9 points to lead the Bulls to their fourth and his third NBA championship. During the third quarter, you would have sworn there were 3 or 4 Rodmans playing for the Bulls. He was everywhere. During one 2-minute stretch, he scored 5 points, made 2 steals, snared several rebounds, and drew a charge. His crowning moment came when he took a feed from Scottie Pippen and converted a lefty layup while getting fouled by Shrimp. Rodman celebrated by pointing into the stands and waving his arms. His devilish smile would not go away, and the United Center crowd loved it. These plays made the game of basketball worthwhile for the Worm. Many people thought I would come in and turn this organization up, but I had no doubts I would come here and do what I had to do. One thing that critics cannot take away from me is that I am a competitor, a fighter, Rodman said. Of the 11 votes cast for Finals MVP, 6 went to Michael Jordan, 3 for Seattle's Shawn Kemp, and 2 went to Rodman. As I evaluate the series, Dennis won 2 basketball games. They got the extra possessions and opportunities with the 11 offensive rebounds. George Karl's words after the finals ended. Jordan admitted that he was very leery of Rodman coming into the season. I think Dennis dedicated himself to coming and helping the city win another championship. And to his credit, he's done a good job, mentally focusing himself not to be too much of a diversion. Seattle coach George Karl looked at the box score after the game. Not that he couldn't have told anyone during the game why his team was not about to prevent the Bulls from winning their 4th NBA title. We got good looks at the basket, noted Karl. They had a lot of misses. The Bulls shot 39.7%, but they got all their extra shots and all their extra possessions because of their energy and their ability to rebound the ball. It's what the Sonics knew they had to do to win in Chicago. Get rebounds, especially protecting their defensive boards, and keep turnovers to a minimum. They couldn't do it, but few teams could do it this season, which is why the Bulls were able to win 72 games and an NBA championship. They have 3 great defenders, noted Karl. They have probably the best all-around player, but their rebounding is the one fundamental that killed us. The Bulls out-rebounded Seattle 51-35 in Game 6, a product of energy and desire. We could control Dennis Rodman for 4 games, but in Game 2 and tonight, after 20 rebounds, 11 offensive in Game 2, Dennis Rodman was the reason they were successful. We controlled Michael Jordan most of the series, but they got extra pressure, and it was more than rebounding. It seemed as though they had more energy than us, said Hersey Hawkins. A lot of our shots came up short, and they always seemed to come up with the boards. They out-hustled us on the boards, and that was frustrating. We were beaten by a pretty good team, but we believe we gave up 2 of those wins and maybe 3. We're not ashamed. No one expected us to be here, and we feel we missed an opportunity by not winning, and they can no longer forget about the rebounding. Rodman killed us again, said Detlef Schrempf. We just gave up a lot of easy rebounds. It takes a lot of energy out of a team when the other guy gets so many second shots. We had our chances. We talked about the keys, rebounding and don't turn the ball over, but the Sonics said they'll be back. Forget about fatigue, especially on the part of 35-year-old Dennis Rodman. The Worm may be exhausted from beauty portion appointments, but not from the Seattle Supersonics. A tired team would have used the third quarter in its 100th game of the season to roll over and pass out from exhaustion. First half, I was a little frustrated, Rodman said. I came out in the second half and I knew I needed to do something to spark this team. Rodman, who had been quiet in the game's 4 and 5 losses at Seattle, scored 6 points during the run. The kind of scoring spurt that serves to demoralize an opponent, treating him only as a rebounder. Rodman wound up with 9 points and 19 rebounds. The run began with 8 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the third quarter when Ron Harper sank a three-pointer to give the Bulls a 55-45 lead. Michael Jordan followed that with a pair of free throws. Rodman then hit the first of 2 shots from close range, plus a single free throw. He followed that by drawing a charge on Seattle's Shawn Kemp with an assisting pass over the top to Jordan. The scoring spurt was over, but Rodman still came up with a pair of consecutive steals.
Spread the floor, Pippen for Rodman on the roll. Shot clock at 5. And away from the ball, the call. Have a 15-point lead. Is back, the shot clock rolling down. It's at 5. Kukoc for 3. Rodman with the rebound and foul by Kemp. For Kemp. Jordan.
Has not been a terrific comeback team in these playoffs. When they played as the leader, they've been second.
Receiving an ovation as he sits down with 18 rebounds.
It's important to note that the MVP award often goes to the most prominent player on the winning team, and that player is usually a high scorer. While Dennis Rodman's stats were not as flashy as Michael Jordan's, his role and performance in the 1996 NBA Finals were arguably as vital as Jordan's in securing the championship for the Chicago Bulls. This contribution, albeit less recognized, made a solid case for him being considered for Finals MVP. Rodman was the most hated opponent in the league, but he was his most treasured teammate. He enraged players with his dives, hand claps, and fist pumping. Alonzo Mourning, Shaq, Ewing, they all reacted to Rodman. They are still reacting to him. With bare fingers, they are watching him secure his 3rd title. Alonzo thought he could run over Dennis Rodman, and that didn't work. Ewing and Mason and Shaq, all guys much bigger than him, thought they could rely on brute strength, but right now it's all mental. This is a mind game. Give Dennis credit. The Sonics were beyond screwed. They were down and out, dumb and dumber.
And they're chanting your name now, Rodman, Rodman. Did you simply impose your will there in the third quarter with all those rebounds and 5 points?
Well, I just think, say one thing. I just thank Chicago for having me in the city, and a lot of people never gave me any credit to be in this situation where I am today, but I proved them all wrong again. So